Talking about Tanya. All right. What's weird though is that Tanya is the one that Brady seems to have loved the most. I don't know. Anyways, we're about to start chapter 16. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. 15 was okay. 15 basically explained how, like, the progression of how Stan changed, and how he killed Tanya. And slowly, Emily is starting to feel like Brady is becoming a mean person. Slowly. I think it's a slow progression. Because she just, now granted she did barge in there, but they've been there for a few months. So I'm sure she's barged in there many times. You know? I'm sure she's barged in there many times and it hasn't been an issue, but now all of a sudden, talking about Tanya. Okay, let's go. Chapter 16. Okay, let's do it. During the afternoon, Emily sat on the dock. Brady's pontoon boat. Okay, so we're back to Emily and Brady. Emily and Brady. Okay. Okay. During the afternoon, Emily sat on the dock. Brady's pontoon boat tied up several feet from where she sat. She sat at the end with her feet bare, dangling in the water while reading the second book. She wore a blue short-sleeved shirt with her pants rolled up to soak her feet in the lake water. It was fall-autumn season now, but this particular day was lovely. It was not too hot nor too cool. It was nice and comfortable, and Emily enjoyed the feel of the water, where her feet remained submerged. Brady sat at his computer, typing until he came to a stopping point. Unsure what to write next, he decided to take a break from working on his novel. Walking out of his office and into the living room, he planned to go into the kitchen and pour a glass of wine. He thought about relaxing his mind for a bit and taking a breather, but while passing through the dining room, he looked towards the many windows across the room where the deck and pool area were. He walks over to the windows and yards away. He can see Emily with her back facing the house, sitting on the dock, reading the book she had taken from his shelf a few days ago. He watches Emily for a bit. Just before he is about to turn away from the window, his eyes spot someone else walking into view. A tall man with short, dark, blonde hair. He probably stood near 6'3", athletic build. He wore light brown colored khaki pants, nice shoes that went well with them, and a white short-sleeved button silk shirt tucked into the pants. He looked like someone with money or just knew how to carry himself, Brady was thinking. He could see part of his face by the angle he was walking in until his back was to him. He was making his way down the dock towards Emily. The little bit of the face he caught, he was indeed a handsome man. His facial hair was nicely trimmed. Brady, with no clue who this man was, this guy must have called out to Emily because of the way she turned around and looked back at him immediately with excitement all over her face. She hopped to her bare feet and ran across the dock to greet him with a hug. He picks her up and twirls her around in his arms. Without any hesitation, the two of them begin kissing with this fiery passion as though they were lovers apart for months or years. What the? Brady mumbled with his blood pressure, while his blood pressure rose high from the anger he felt within his soul. What he saw was pushing him over the edge. No way he was about to witness another man march onto his property and to his woman like that. And the fact she would do this spoke volumes of her feelings towards him, and the disregard of his feelings was not about to be tolerated. Maybe you were right after all, Stan, Brady said, looking around as though he were expecting Stan to be standing right next to him, but instead he was nowhere to be seen. Brady marched out the sliding door and onto the deck and right off the deck and towards the dock he was headed, and he was prepared to kick the ever-loving right out of the sky. That was all that was on his mind, and when he reached the dock, he saw Emily sitting at the end of the dock reading a book with her bare feet in the lake water. It was a bit confusing there, but Brady knew better. He knew he was not seeing things. Did he just go? Brady called out, reaching Emily at the end of the dock. She got up with a confused look about her. What are you talking about? She asked. Don't play dumb with me. I saw you two out here kissing. He couldn't have gotten far, Brady responded while looking around. He walked, Brady responded. While looking around, he walked away from Emily and off the dock. He was headed towards the driveway, towards the front of his lake house, but only his car could be seen. During his fast-paced, pissed-off walk, Emily follows, blanketed with confusion. Her mind is lost to what he relates to. She had never seen him angry like this before. He was mixed with anger and jealousy, and she had no idea why. It did not make any sense to her. She knew the two were the only ones there. Son of a was just sped off. Brady roared. But he thought about it for a second, thinking he would have heard the car and seen tire tracks of him leaving. But could it be possible that someone could have left this fast? Unless the man saw him coming out the door and left in a hurry. Maybe he was looking around for Stan, the mysterious blonde guy. Maybe he was looking around for Stan, the mysterious blonde guy. Maybe when he was looking around for Stan, the mysterious blonde guy quickly took off. Where is he? Who the hell was that guy? Brady asked, giving Emily this angry look. She could see some rage almost building up inside him. The way he was huffing and puffing, he looked like he was ready to murder someone. I have no idea what the hell you are talking about, she asked. He could see how perplexed she was, yet he saw it as an act, though. But for her, this was no act. She was genuinely confused and damn near scared by his eagerness to find someone he saw that she had no clue about. Don't you lie to me, you bee. I saw you two out there on the dock kissing, and the way you two were kissing, you both knew each other very well, he scolded. Don't you call me a bee ever again, and don't be blaming me for shit I haven't done. How the hell was I kissing someone? I was sitting on the dock reading a book, you dick, she responded. Don't you lie to me, he shouted just before he smacked her across the face with the back of his left hand. It's time to go. Ma'am. First, it was the whole thing at the lake. He grabbed her phone, threw it in the lake without even checking for proof. No. It's time. It is time. She stumbled back a few feet from where she was standing, placing her hand over the red spot across her cheek and lowered left jaw. Without a word said, anger took over her mind, and her reaction was to tighten her right hand into a fist. Without warning, she swung hard, punching Brady across the left side of his jaw. Come on now. Catching him by surprise and knocking him to the ground. There you go. Time to go. Grab his keys. It's time to go. Don't you dare lay a hand on me again, she shouted at him while he sat on the ground in shock that she punched him. Why are you in shock? You hit her, but you don't expect for her to try to hit you back? You crazier than I thought. He felt ashamed, yet shocked at the same time. He just sat there, taken by his thoughts. While he sat sitting there, taken aback by his thoughts, go get the key and leave, okay? While he is taken aback, you need to get back inside the car, okay? It's time to go. He just sat there, taken by thoughts, watching Emily angrily storm off. He thought about chasing and confronting her, but decided better. He was still confused about where the man had gone off to and why she seemed surprised and acted as though her kissing this other guy had never happened. Brady sits in his chair in the front of his computer where he works on his novel. No, you're not about to go back to writing the novel. We're not going back to normal here. I'm about to go. Well, I mean, you can go back to typing if you want to. While you typing away, I'm in the car, okay? I'm in the car. I'm out of here, okay? Let's see. Where he works on his novel. He places a rag with ice against his jaw where Emily punched him minutes ago. So immediately after that whole incident, you gonna go back to writing? That's your first reaction? You wild. This man is wild. So yeah, you need to go. Okay, you are in front of your computer writing or whatever, you're writing your stuff. Collecting his thoughts, trying to put away the humiliation he was feeling after being punched by Emily. How do you think that she felt? Being slapped across the face, she's bleeding. Her punch hurt, and it had a bit of power to it. While staring at his screen and going over what he had typed down earlier, he was in complete shock to find that everything that had transpired was written down, as though he had just written it. Yet he knew it couldn't have been him. See, you are okay. Brady, you already know that you are a little crazy. You already know that you see things all the time that aren't there. You see you see Stan, you've seen Tanya's ghost, you've seen the other two women's ghosts, Nancy or what? No, I wrote it down a while back. Okay, this is not it. Tanya, Cheryl, and Cindy. You saw all three of them. You see stuff all the time. So is it out of the realm of possibility that maybe you're seeing things here too? Time to go to a doctor, sir. Okay? Let's see. Yet he knew it couldn't have been him. He had just come back into his office since the ordeal. He sat at the computer, dumbfounded by how this seems to be happening quite often. Things he encounters are suddenly being written down. Could he be doing this subconsciously and not remembering it? He finds it odd that this has happened on several occasions now. He leans back in the chair, reading over his manuscript of what he had just witnessed happening before his eyes. He can still feel the stinging punch he received by Emily. Sir, we don't feel sorry for you. We do not. So that must have happened. The only thing that could make any sense about any of this is Stan would have to be the one writing what is happening. He and Emily were outside and Stan was nowhere to be seen. Could my counterpart, who only exists through my mind, be writing these things down? Yet, when asked about it, he denies it. Brady was telling himself, trying to understand it, while trying to figure out who the tall guy with dark blonde hair kissing Emily was. Who is this guy? Where did he go? Is he another part of the imagination brought on by Brady's subconscious mind? While running all these variables through his mind, trying to unravel what is happening, Brady is quickly startled and distracted by the sound of something falling to the floor. When standing up to see what he had heard falling to the floor, he saw one of his books on the floor, seeing that it had fallen from the bookshelf. Not giving it too much thought as to why a book would randomly fall from the shelf, unless Emily did not put it on the shelf all the way. When he picks the book up, he sees that it is the first book of his successful series. He is about to place it back on the bookshelf when something on the book catches his attention. It has the name at the bottom by who it is written. By whom it is written. It confused Brady. He could not see his name. Brady Mills. His last name is Mills. Okay. In the book, but instead all he could see was gibberish, as if the letters were all mixed up and around. It made no sense. Sir, you are seeing things all the time. Okay? Get some help. There was no comprehension of what he was seeing. He rubs his eyes, opens the book, and scans through the pages. Everything seems normal until every time he looks at the author's name, it is complete gibberish. Even on the back and about the author page, the picture is blurred out, and the name, of course, was in gibberish. The words about the author were all scrambled. It was beyond confusing, he thought. He puts the book away and grabs the third book of the series, knowing Emily is reading the second book of the series. However, when he looks through this book, everything is normal except the name and author and about the author's page were just like the other book. Something was not right. This wasn't making sense. He was thinking before dropping the book to the floor and scanning through all the books he had written over the years. And to his astonishment, they were all the same. Everything normal until it came to the author name or about the author page. With each book, he'd look through and find this bizarre, unexplainable situation. He'd drop it until all his books were on the floor. This cannot be real, he mumbled, while backing away from his empty bookshelf after throwing all the books he had written over the years to the floor. This made no sense, much like seeing things written down that he was not only experiencing but not remembering ever writing down to begin with, except a few things here and there, like something out of a horror movie. He suddenly hears voices surrounding him through the room, voices of the women once in his life talking, whispering to him, many things he remembers writing down in his books too. He closes his eyes, trying to block out the voices with his hands over his ears. With his eyes closed and trying to block out the voices of the women he knew or wrote about in his books, he could hear them say things he remembers hearing in person or had written down in his books while he had fantasized about their voices and looks. Beyond the strangeness of what he hears, things get stranger when he suddenly feels warm air blowing against his bare skin. He could feel, wait a minute, he had a whole imagination, whatever lapse, when he Y'all remember that? He's mad about him imagining Emily with some random man. Meanwhile, didn't he just do it with Tanya by the lake a few chapters ago? As Brady? You just did that. So maybe he's imagining this guy because he knows that he has, in his imagination, cheated, I guess, in his imagination, or maybe it really was Tanya, but because it was haunted, you know what I mean? I don't know. Let's see. Um, he could feel the heat from the sun bearing down on him. He could hear the crashing of waves as the sound of seagulls flying around, the smell of salt water and suntan lotion, and the up and down motion as though he were on a boat in the water. He opens his eyes and uncovers his ears simultaneously, surprised to find himself steering his sailboat across the ocean off the shores of South Beach, Florida. Wearing his sunglasses with only a pair of blue shorts on and nothing else, his skin was moist with suntan lotion. He looked around at the waves crashing against the boat while sailing across the waters during the midsummer afternoon. He looks to his right and sees Emily hanging on while looking across the ocean. You really imagining stuff now. This girl hopefully has left and not at the lake house anymore. Okay. He looks to his right and sees Emily hanging on while looking across the ocean, wearing a two-piece emerald-colored bikini. She turns and looks at Brady, who is wearing sunglasses and smiling. She is having a good time, enjoying her first time on a sailboat in the ocean. The wind was just right on this day. It wasn't too strong, but not too weak either. They sailed across the water, both feeling the rays from the hot sun beaming down on their bodies. Steering the sailboat across the waters, Brady remembers this all too well. It felt like deja vu. He can still remember the heat from the sun, the wind against his body, and the boat's motion across the water. He can still see the smile and happiness radiating off of Emily. He knew she was excited and happy to be out there with him on the water. Why am I living this moment again? Brady was asking himself while staring out across the water, seeing more boats out. He could feel Emily rubbing his back from behind him before she leaned her body against him, hugging him from behind and whispering into his right ear. It's like something out of a book. As fast as this appeared to him, it disappeared, and Brady was sitting in his computer chair. It was beyond weird, he thought, seeing how his bookshelf was organized. None of his books were on the floor, and he was no longer feeling the sting over his jaw where Emily had punched him earlier. Looking at his computer screen, he sees where all that had happened. It was written down. When placing his hand over his jaw, he never felt any bruising. He never saw a rag with ice anywhere around him. Who's writing the story? He whispered, perplexed by what was happening around him. Nothing seemed real anymore. So does that mean that he didn't see the guy and he didn't slap her and she didn't punch him and he, because that does seem kind of weird that would happen and then minutes later he's back to writing the book. What y'all think? I feel like because now I'm wondering, like, did that even happen? Like, did he even slap her and and then she hit him? Did that even happen? So we got to find out in chapter 17. Let me know if you think that it really happened with Emily, or if you think that that was a part of his imagination too. Because I feel like if it really did happen, she's not going to just let him go back to just typing on his thing. Like, well, hopefully she would, because she would be on her way out. But, you know, we shall see. So let's go ahead and hop into chapter 17. Okay, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.